Hello, everybody. This is Nichelle, and I'm coming to you guys for a little talk. So, I am self employed, and I'm just coming to you guys to help out those ladies or gentlemen that are coming fresh out of beauty school. So, fresh out of beauty school, what's next, right? So, what is it that you really want to do? When you went to beauty school, what is it that you like the most? Did you like the cut? Did you like coloring hair? Where do you see this as being your career? As a former educator with J.C. Penney's, I saw a lot of people coming into the business and trying to find their way. And some people really wanted to find money immediately and try to get their career going immediately. And in this business, it's not always immediate. So I'm just going to give you guys at least a few tips on what you can do to get started. So I'm back. All right. So it's a few tips that you can do to get started as a cosmetologist in this cosmetology business. Number one, what is it that is your niche? What do you like to do? What do you do well? Are you the type of student that went to beauty school and had a natural gift, something that you really did well? Were you a good stylist? Were you a good hair cutter? Or did you go in knowing how to braid, do natural hair pretty good? What is it? What's your niche? So if you're happy with your niche, start there. Get under someone that you can find, or a mentor, someone that you can find, or even an apprentice job that you can do to get started in your niche. Remember, when you're first coming out of beauty school, that it's not going to always be immediate money. It's never going to be immediate money. It's going to be at some time, putting in some work, things like that. It's rarely a person comes out and they're making a lot of money at just coming out of beauty school. That's pretty rare. You have to have like an awesome niche or know somebody or something. So next, after you find out what your niche is or what you really like, just for example, I gave advice to one particular stylist while I was an educator, and it really worked for her. So this advice I'm giving to you guys. So this advice, I told her, she was coming to our classes and she was learning. Sometimes she would be the only one that would come to the classes, and that said a lot about her character, because a lot of people think they know everything, even just because they've been working in the business for a long time. They kind of just throw away their education, because sometimes you need to have your education refreshed, or you may learn something new from just working with other peers and things like that. Matter of fact, you will learn something new working with other peers. So the advice I gave to her was to get as much of the classes as she could, learn as much as she could, and she decided to leave the company that we were working with. And at that time, I told her to leave in the right way, and she did. And to take that time to go to this company that she was going to, which was also a good company, and to learn as much as she can learn. And at this particular company, they train as well, not as long as we trained, but they did do a couple of weeks of training, and then they put you out on the floor. So what I told her is to take the knowledge that she has learned here with the company that we were with, and take that knowledge and study it and take it with you. Because at the company that she was going to, she would have plenty of practice, plenty of it, because it was an ongoing company that did an ongoing service on a daily basis. So she had plenty of practice learning the techniques that we learned. They weren't too far off from what they were teaching. And those techniques she learned with us, she took with her. And she practiced and practiced and practiced. Not too long ago, or after her learning those techniques and transferring over to that company, she became a manager. So she learned how to cut, she learned how to color, she did very well and became a manager. And her time being patient and taking the advice that I had given her, she became this manager, and her career is thriving. So I'm very proud of her. So next, if you can't get on an apprenticeship or work for a company that can give you education, next thing you want to do is buy you some mannequins and practice. Go to education classes. If you check out your local beauty supplies, they have classes. They have classes that they offer you guys, or stylists or cosmetologists. Excuse me. And they're not expensive. They In my local area, I think the highest class I've seen was $75. Um, that is a good. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, if you're a stylist and you're just coming out of beauty school and you still have, I'm going to say, a family to take care of, or people to take care of, or whatever, you to take care of, bills to pay. We all have bills to pay. Sometimes you can do these classes on the side while you're working. So maybe most of these classes are done on either a Monday or a Sunday, because those are usually the days that most stylists are off. So you can do your classes on those days. They're not the busiest days, is why they choose those days again. So you can take your classes on those days and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And keep practicing until you get them. Get the clues. Take more notes. And you know what? Some stylists don't agree with YouTube, or that you go onto YouTube or things like that. But hey, I say find someone you can trust on YouTube. There are a lot of good stylists that are sharing their techniques on YouTube. Pick a couple. Pick one. Pick two. Maybe three. But pick a couple of those stylists and practice their techniques, and feel comfortable with them becoming your techniques, and you're becoming your own. Okay. So I think that's 3 so far that I've shared. But be patient. I started off as a young stylist, but I had children at the time. I had 3 children, and I worked in the industry for a while. Actually, I worked as a administrative assistant, and I worked for the state for a while because I had to take care of my children. So, and in the meantime, while I was doing that, I kept practicing and doing things like that. And as I became more and more interested in going back to being a cosmetologist, I went back to being a cosmetologist, and the money wasn't always great. Sacrificing time, was a major issue in my life. So I had to learn how to balance my time with my family and not miss out on what my children were doing in their young life, and to be there, to be the parent that was there to see and do what they were doing in their life, like their track, like their soccer's. None of my kids play soccer, but anyway, like their track. I think one of my kids played. I know my son played football. I think one of my kids, they were dancing. They were doing all kind of things, and I wanted to be there for that. So you want to be there for your children. You want to make sure you balance out this life as a cosmetologist. So when I started out, I started under a lady that had her own business, a private. She wasn't a corporation or anything. She was a private person that had her own salon. I started under her, worked with her, got used to working in the business, working with customers, doing different things, etc., etc. Then I went out on my own for a little bit. Got used to buying my own products, managing my time, managing money, things like that. And that was hard, but I eventually did it. And then I moved on to work for a corporation, did that for 10 years. Again, I also stepped out on my own again, and now again, I'm on my own again. So I learned a lot from a stylist that I worked with, who had been who had owned a couple of businesses herself, and she taught me a lot. She taught me a lot about balancing and budgeting money for your business, and I learned a lot about that. We worked as commission first, and then she let me handle the commission, which was a big trust factor with me and her. So that was big, something great that she trusted me to do that. I also kept the records for that. And then later on, I began to rent a booth from her. So I know the commission side and also the renting of the booth. I've rented booths before from different people. So renting booths from different people, some salons have it where it's open, where you just rent a space from them, and you're working with the people in the salon. Sometimes it's different personalities in the salon, and those personalities don't always get along. There's different rules. Sometimes there's no rules. So you're going to have to be able to adjust to things like that. And if that's not what you really want to do, there's places like where I am now. I rent my own room. I have it designed the way I want to design it, my hours the way I want to work my hours, like just a particular business. So I enjoy it. But had it not been for my previous experience, I definitely wouldn't be successful or surviving or striving like I'm doing now. That's the word I like, striving. So my previous experience has led me to be able to do what I'm doing now, and I enjoy it. So I want to share with other stylists so that I'm able to give back to stylists. YouTube is one way that we're able to give back techniques, tricks, and trades, and learn and things people can learn about the business one-on-one or things like that. In my time, when I came out of beauty school, there were very few people that shared what they knew. And the reason because they didn't share what they knew is because they thought if you knew what they knew, you take their clients or their money. So now it's, there's enough people in the world for everyone and enough people in your city or your block for everyone. So find your niche and find it and enjoy what you're doing. If you really enjoy what you're doing, learn as much as you can, like I said, and practice, 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 practice. Even practice your budget. That's something I'm still learning and had to learn is practicing my budget. Um, Opening a business account, opening up a personal account, and keeping them separate. Now, that was very hard and it's still hard sometimes today, but it's a must that you do a business account and a personal account. And so that's what I do today. I do a business account and a personal account. And for my business, I've already figured out the cost of what it costs to rent the booth, basically how much a month I want to spend on products. If you do something like Style Seed, Schedulicity, or those things, if you pay for those, they kind of give you the reports of what's your biggest thing that you offer or the biggest money maker that you're doing, your biggest sales in your business, so to speak. So take some time to review some of those reports. Those reports will show you, like in my business, it will show me what's the biggest sale in my business, and I take those sales and I trying to move out this light. There we go. So I take those sales and I use those, and that shows me what products I need to buy. So, for example, if you're hair cutting, and your biggest sales are hair cutting, then your biggest supply maybe if you offer a shampoo with your haircut would be shampoo and conditioner, or your shears, investing in your shears. That may be your biggest expense, and that's probably a one-time expense for your shears. But for a shampoo and conditioner, you can get away with that for maybe not buying from but every 3 months if you buy in bulk, or if you um, buy when things are on sale. That's what I usually try to do. So, for instance, if you're a colorist or a color specialist, so that's your biggest bulk of your item. So, what I do, this is just me, but it may can help you. Um, when I know that I have color services, I just tend to look over my client list and I see which colors do I do the most often. Now, as you can see right now, I have my hair has the what I call the unicorn hair, but most of my customers don't get this type of hair color. My customers are mostly conservative. They're business people, um, lawyers, doctors. I have a lawyer. I have a doctor. I have a few business managers and things like that. So they really don't get this kind of unicorn hair or the really bright hair like their hairstylists. So I'm usually conservative most of the time, but hey, I decided to step up the box, and this is what I got, and I'm loving it. So anyway, I keep a few of these colors on hand just in case. Get someone in that is really ready to step out and let's have some fun. But personally, on my client list, most of my clients are conservative, so I keep a lot of conservative colors. But I do keep lightener in my repertoire because I have a lot of clients that like to be lightened. And funny thing is like this mostly my gray coverage clients. They want to be lightened and to hide their gray. And we also do the their basic base color. Another thing that I guys want to tell you, say for instance you're a blowout or natural, your biggest expense may be the products that you use for your blowout, which could be anything. Um, everyone uses something different, but whatever that product is for your blowout, or as your tools again, your blow dryer and your brushes. So blow dryer and brushes are usually a one-time expense that'll last you for a while unless they go out. So you always want to have a emergency fund just in case. Hey, you got to have where your blow dryer goes out, your flat iron goes out. You need that emergency fund. So I hope this has helped you some. Again, you're just coming out of beauty school. Find your niche. Um, you will love this industry. I have been in this industry for over 23 years, about 23 years, and I really love this industry.